A year of owning a BillyOh log cabin. How's it been? It's literally been a year since I've had the roof on this. Happy New Year, by the way. So 2025 already. Well, going back to Christmas just past, Boxing Day last year, or actually the year before if you think about it, 2023, was when I put the felt on the roof on this log cabin. So since then it's been watertight. Done lots of changes, as you can see. I've got my studio and my little workbench set up quite well now. Katie's got her side in absolute chaos, but actually we're getting organised. It's one of those things, you have to sort of use it to then discover what's great, what needs changing, what you need to add, what you need to take away, and that's the bit we're figuring out. So how has it been? I've got some major tips for you. So if you're considering making a BillyOh log cabin, one, check out my playlist of how I built this thing. It might help you. You might enjoy me making the mistakes rather than you making the mistakes. Few suggestions, but I have got a few tips and tricks, so stick around to the end of the video because I've got some quite, I think, major ones that I wish I'd known before starting this project. But it's been a year. Am I happy with it? Spoiler alert, yeah, it's amazing. We absolutely love it. This is our little escape. So stick around and let's get on with what's good and what's bad. There are a few things about owning a log cabin. Be it BillyOh, be it those Dunster or the other cabins, there's tons. But let's see how we get on. So the good stuff. There are quite a few. Actually, it's great. Easy to assemble. I put this together pretty much single-handedly. Katie had to give me a hand with a few of the really long bits, but only so they didn't fall off one end while I was trying to pin in another end. But it's like a great big Lego set. You just put in bit by bit and you slowly construct the whole thing. Yes, this took me a ridiculous amount of time compared to some, but I did it by myself despite the weather, the conditions. I put this together in winter. Tip number one, put it together in the summer. Much easier and drier. But the main thing is the wood will stay in the shape that it should be in, and it's easier to paint and that sort of thing. Do it in the summer. Keeps your hands warmer as well. Okay. Which brings me into the other one. Warmth. I didn't insulate this. The roof is just thin wood. The walls are the 19mm walls. If you're looking at the specs, you can buy different size cabins with different size walls. I use the 19mm walls. I've also got the 19mm floor. The only insulation in here at all is the layer of carpet and plastic on the floor. No real insulation at all really in here, and it's not bad. It's a we've got We've got weather warnings today. It is the middle of winter. It's about 0 degrees out there at the minute, and we're supposed to have severe snow tonight. It's toasty warm in here. It's absolutely fine. I have got an oil heating. I have got an oil heater in here that's on permanently. It's set to 10 degrees. It kicks in, keeps the place warm, keeps the damp out, anything like that. We've had no problems with damp. We've had no problems with moisture. It's been absolutely fine. And I haven't actually finished sealing the windows in yet. We sort of stopped because we're not quite sure what we're going to do. There's a few options on that. Okay, so we love that. Also, the escapism and privacy. We love this. We like to escape to the bottom of our garden. Not that we've got a massive garden, but we escape to the garden. You can leave the house, you're leaving the stuff here, and we can just do stuff. I've got my side of the studio for my bit. Katie's got her side, and we can just sit here and potter. We can have the evenings do disappear. It's a little bit of a time sponge in here. We can suddenly realise that it's midnight and we've been busy doing things. So we love it. Okay, so it's been great. There is some not so good stuff. It's a little bit noisy with the thin walls, and back to the insulation is you will hear squirrels run across the roof now and then. We love squirrels, they're fine. You'll hear dogs barking over the road, that sort of thing. Luckily we're not near any major car noise streets, but you can hear birds and that sort of thing, but that's not the biggest of problems. But if it's slightly more substantial, then maybe there would be less noise, but that's not really the building's fault. Also, the floor. I went for not the thinnest floor, the next one up. It does flex a little bit. We've got great foundation I built for it. It's a good floor, but I'm not using heavy machinery in here and that sort of thing, but when you roll chairs over it, it's a little bit of flex. Yeah, maybe, but it's a little bit. It's fine for what we're doing, and I could always add to it later on. I could board it out a little bit more with some OSB boards or something like that. That would be a lot of work because everything would have to come out to go in, but yeah, it's no. Then the roof. I had a few problems with the roof, but they weren't the cabin's fault. It's a pent roof, but unlike a shed, which is quite pointy, it's quite a low incline. And where we are here and the way it's weathered is all the weather comes from the side. And you've got 100mm overlap and the nails to have the felt on. It's just the basic felt. And it's only the 11mm roof. That's not the problem. The problem is the wind was blowing water up and actually up that gap. So we did have a little bit of a leak in 2 places on the roof on Katie's side. Luckily, it was just going onto the floor. It wasn't going anywhere major. We spotted it. Easy fix. I got some of that bitumen tape. The one we used to, I think, was Bostik. Bit difficult to use in the winter because it goes quite stiff. It needs to be hard. But it's just you can get it lots of different widths. I just used a 2-inch wide tape and just taped the whole seam with my heat gun, rolled it down, mainly to cover the tacks and the joints and stop any water getting blown up into that gap. I only did the 2 because it was freezing cold, but we've had some severe weather since I did that and not a drop of water in here. So personally, either do the upgraded roof slightly or do that to your roof anyway. Get some of that Bostik tape. It's really good, not thoroughly expensive. I think it was 20 quid a roll. Got 2 rolls of it. It's enough to do all of the joints that need sealing. I will do that in the summer when I'll finish it off. But at the minute, the 2 main joints that were leaking, then they're covered and they haven't leaked a drop. Touch wood. So that's been really, really good. So cool. What else is weird about this? The Qwerks of Wood. It's a wooden building. Unlike a shed where you have a panel and it's sort of a set size, this is individual, well, they call it a log cabin, but it's individual pieces of wood. They do shift up and down a lot, by a considerable amount. I've cut out the corners here. You've got about an inch gap at that top of that corner over there. I've got a bit of tape on me arm. That inch gap goes up and down to about a couple of mil gap, to about 1.5 inches. It does move quite a lot. The wood goes up and down quite a lot. And when you fix things to the walls, like shelves and that sort of thing, just watch out. It is a little bit weird. These shelves, got big brackets, aren't actually fixed at the bottom because they were holding pressure. I've just got them fixed at the top, and then it gives them freedom to move up and down a little bit. It's nothing major, as long as you know that is going to happen. Look back on my playlist and there's a previous video where it's all about shrinkage and what I'd have done. Those corner posts that you put in last, I would cut off the bottom and leave them hovering so it can move up and down at the bottom of your wall, and you wouldn't notice it's going up and down then. It's only afterwards when I noticed I've got gaps because the roof was actually resting on those because the wood had shrunk down. And it's like, I could see daylight in Katie's corner. It was very peculiar. Go and have a look at that video. It was an easy fix, but I wish I'd known about it because then I could have quite easily avoided it. I think the Dunster cabin, which is a different version, different manufacturer, they actually have a floating pin to hold the wood in the corner, but it goes up and down. It's got like a slot in it to actually take that into account. I've seen that on some other people's videos. Quite a good idea, that. It would have been quite neat. So cool. But it moves. Sometimes you have to take a bit of a shelf down, but all I've done is the workbenches are fixed to a single level. Everything that I've fixed, I've tried to pick a single level. All of these here are actually fixed to one piece. So if it does move a little bit, or if you are going over 2, it's not moving a massive amount, and it'll just move with it. It's no big deal. Nothing in here has to be millimetre accurate dead level. But having said that, I've got a spirit level on the shelf here, and it is absolutely in the middle. So that'll do me. So cool. So still on the to-do list. What have we got there? I've got a list here. I am actually referring it. I've got a teleprompter app, but it's not working. So cool. So still on the to-do list, more lighting. I've put a bit of lighting in here. done a bit more electrics outside when I do that. I've got more work outside of the building, really. Also tidy up in here and sort things out, getting there. It's like things I've built an enclosure for my 3D printer to keep that lovely and warm when it's printing. I would highly recommend it. If you've got a 3D printer, build yourself or get something that encloses it. Since I've done that, my prints come out perfectly. I don't get any warping. It sort of warms itself up in that area, keeps itself toasty warm. So what else have I got to do? More lighting in here. Gutters. I haven't done gutters on the end of the roof, so I think when I do the bitumen strips and finish that off, I'm going to just mini guttering. I'm just going to get guttering just to take the water to the back of the building rather than let it just hit the floor, that sort of thing. Touch up the paint. I painted this in winter, so it does need another lick of paint. I have still got more of the same paint left, so I'll just give another lick of paint in the summer. Doesn't really need a lick of paint in here. It's nice. It's got like a whitewashed effect, that sort of thing. Got to finish the path out of the front where we're coming up to it. At the minute we're sort of walking onto the side of the little terrace that I've built out there. There's a lot more videos on the garden and little bits and bobs, and being quite creative with pallets and doing bits and bobs there. Yes, I know lots of other people have made stuff out of pallets, but I can get them from work, and I like the look of them, but you can do some quite interesting things. I've built a bit of a wall and a herb garden, that sort of thing, so more videos on that. What else have I got to do out there? Storage. Basically, I've already mentioned she's sorting out her storage. Sorting out her storage. But it's one of those things, you have to use the space to get used to it. And we've bought some things that have been no good. We've used some things, then found some old stuff that we've got that superb. Katie uses fake flowers all of the time, and storing those, they take up so much room, and I think we finally sussed that the other day. So, and it's actually cleared her workbench over. So, was it worth it? Absolutely. We love this. We're getting our work done. Katie's got her little business that she's bigging up and getting there. It's starting to get noticed. We're starting to have a bit more success. 2024 has been a very, very weird year for crafters and makers. If you can stick through 2024 and get into 2025, I think this is the year for stuff to actually kick off properly. The cost of living crisis, people don't want to buy, well, they do want to buy pretty things, but I think this year things are going to start. And with their perseverance, it's great. And also my stuff, I'm going to make much more of my stuff. So we're going to do that. So it's absolutely worth it. Worth every penny and every hour spent building this thing. But tips for your build. Here's the important one. So what would I have done differently if I was starting this knowing then what I know now? Is that what the phrase? Yeah, that's the phrase. Go a bit bigger. Okay. I got the biggest one we could afford. Well, I couldn't really afford this. We really stretched the budget to go for this. Go slightly bigger. Whatever you want, you will want to use. Fill in space. Adam Savage has a great phrase that he was using from, was it Industrial Light and Magic? Whenever they build something, they call it baby fat, where you always have that little bit of room that you can grow into. That's exactly what this is. It's a nice size, but another couple of foot extra in that direction would have been great. But it's not a problem, but it would have been lovely to have a little bit more. So, whatever size you think you need, go just a touch bigger. Okay, and that also goes through to the version you buy. You can buy this in different things. Go as thick as you can on the walls. Okay, I went for the 19mm. I think you can get, 11mm the smallest, which was paper thin. That would be terrible. So I went for the 19, but you can do 25 and 35. I think goes quite thick. If you can afford it, get the chunkier one. Okay, much more substantial. That would really work. But the big one, I would have gone thicker on the floor. Again, you can choose all the different sizes. Don't use the really thin one. That would be, I can't even see. This has got a little bit of flex in it, not much, but a little bit. But I would have gone slightly thicker. That's what the roof seems all right. I think the roof will be fine. The only thing I would have changed as going thicker on the roof is I might have gone for a more substantial felt. It's just the basic stuff. It could have been better, but bar that one leak, and that was extreme weather, so can't blame BillyOh for that. But I would have gone slightly heavier on the felt. But again, you can get, I would like to put a metal roof on this at some point, or one of those composite plastic roofs. That can be done in the future. So these things can evolve. So that's the thing. What else we got? Looking at my list. Be ready with some basic tools. You will need them. Yes, okay, you'll need a drill. You'll need a rubber mallet to put things through. You will need to buy some screws that are the right size, because the ones that came with it were wrong. And I bet when you buy yours will be wrong as well. You needed 65 or sort of 55mm screws. But other tools that you can need, you will need them. I've got a multi-folding step ladder thing that was, especially doing this by myself, invaluable. It was superb for that step up, because everything's above your head when you start doing the top bits. That thing that's worth every penny, and it wasn't massively expensive. Link in the description below for every single tool that I've used building this, for every single piece of equipment I've recorded. All the electronics are on there as well. I've got links in my video description for a few, but also there's a link back to my website where I've got a whole page of all of my Amazon affiliate links. That would be superb. If you want to buy something off Amazon, it won't affect what you're paying for it, but it does help me out. I get a little tiny percentage back if you buy something through one of my links. So it'd be much appreciated if you did that. And while you're doing that, again, click the link in the description below, click like, click subscribe, and go and check out the other playlists in a minute when I finish yabbering off. So that sort of thing. So that's about it. Okay, so I have been slacking. I had a few things go wrong, and then we got ridiculously busy. Fully will admit, I've been slacking on my YouTube channel. So 2025, I'm going to hit this big time. I've got a few videos. I've got one already recorded I'm going to put up where I build a house in a day. Okay, click that one in a minute when you see that. That'll probably be up few days after this one, but yes, this is the start of the year. This is the new video, so happy new year. Okay, hope you had a blooming lovely holiday, whether that be, well, Americans, you've done Thanksgiving, you've done Christmas, we've done Christmas, there's lots of celebrations, but I hope you had a blooming lovely time. We're back at work in a couple of days time, as in full-time job, work, so back at it, but more to come from me, more to come from Katie. There's plenty of stuff that we're going to get done, and 2025 is going to be a blooming good year. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening to me ramble on, a little bit of a different video, but happy new year, and let's see 2025 being an absolutely superb one. So I'll catch you in a bit. Take care.